us. Everybody cultivate the right motivation, particularly motivation for achieving Buddhahood, particular motivation achieving Buddhahood in this lifetime to benefit all sentient beings. In order to practice the pure Dharma, we need to rely on the excellent Guru, which is all the Buddhas, then the actual Dharma, which is the realization, then the component for practice Dharma, which is all the excellent Sanghas. Without rely on Tibetan, there's no way we ourselves can be Buddha. Therefore, with a great motivation, please take refuge to the Tibetan, page number 4. Actually, there's a 4 line, right? The first and second is for taking refuge. Then the third and fourth line, 2 line is the generating bodhicitta. I go for refuge to the anti-margin, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and enlarging to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and enlarging to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. My motivations or practice of giving and so forth to benefit all sentient beings. First, take refuge to the Tibetan. In order to achieve Buddhahood, the most important practice is bodhicitta. Next, generate bodhicitta, visualize all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, visualize all sentient beings, then we can be, representative of all sentient beings and generate bodhicitta. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the man of awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the man of awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the man of awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Simply we think, I wish to be Buddha quickly, very swiftly, for benefit all sentient beings. In our daily life, every morning, if we are able to cultivate bodhicitta, then all day, right, from morning to evening, all your action can be positive actions. If you think, I don't think, I can be Buddha to benefit all sentient beings, the second option we have, simply you think, I want to achieve liberation. I want to be liberated for myself, to benefit for myself. then you think, I don't think, in my lifetime, or I don't think I can achieve liberation. I don't think I myself can be liberated. Then the third option we have, somehow I don't want to born into, lower realms. I don't want to be animal. I don't want to be hungry beings. I don't want to be hell beings. Then also you can take refuge to the diversion, for stopping born into lower realms. So many of us, we really spend a lot of times, using your energy trying to practicing dharma, which is very good. We're trying somehow, but the way of practicing dharma is sometimes, there's a lot of kind of, sometimes most of the time we really don't know how to practice dharma. Therefore, through studying dharma, the most important, we need to learn, we need to know how to practice the dharma in the proper way. If we are able to practice dharma in the proper way, the right way, then achieving liberation, achieving Buddhahood is not that far. For example, in India, ancient time, there were so many practitioners. Within a few years, they became, Arya, then Arahato, then they become a Buddha. In Tibet, so there are so many, kind of monks and nuns, lay person. They also, within one lifetime, they become Buddha. Because they are not very different than us. They were also same as us. Then why we cannot, why they can? Because they practice dharma in the proper, in the correct way, right? Therefore, they become Buddha. It's okay, it's okay. Also, we should not think, I cannot achieve Buddhahood this lifetime. We must think I can. If I practice Dharma in the proper way, correctly, without having a lot of confusion, without having a lot of, like misunderstanding. Right? Therefore, we, through the Four Noble Truths, the Sutra of the Will of Dharma, the Rice Seedling Sutra, the middle stage of the meditation. So we're going to learn how to practice the Dharma in the proper way, the right way. So now we are studying, we study the 12 links, dependent origination. Right? So you should not mix up, dependent origination and interdependent. Interdependent and the dependent origination has a different meaning, different meaning. For example, the child, depends on parents, right? Then the parents are dependent on the, grandparents or previous ancestor. These are dependent origination. Like a tree depends on the seeds. The seed depends on the previous tree. This also dependent or how to, originate this thing. Interdependent. For example, big. When we say this object is big, this object is very big. The object is big because depend on small, right? Compared with small object, this object, for example, these two books, right? We cannot say, oh, this book is very big. When we say this book is very big, we are comparing. This book is big because compared this book, the book is big. And this book is small compared with this book. And it cannot be, independently small. Then compare with these two books, which is bigger. This is bigger, this is smaller. And when you compare these two books, you can say, this book is big. Then therefore, big and small is interdependent. Without small, we cannot establish big. Without big, we cannot establish small. Therefore, big and small, short and long, beauty and ugly, black and white, those are interdependent. Big and small, big and small, these two are not dependent origination between these two. Right? So we studying the dependent originations. So when we study dependent origination in the correct way, then we're going to understand all phenomena depend on something, depend on causes and conditions, right? So what is the opposite of the, depend on causes condition? Not depending on causes condition is the opposite of the dependent on causes condition, right? So once you know, all the condition phenomena are dependent on causal condition, then there's not any, uh, condition phenomena which is not depend on causes condition. This is the, the meaning of dependent origination. Therefore, everything around me is exists, depend on causes and condition. Clear? Causes and condition. Sometimes then you confuse what the difference is between, how you can differentiate, causes and condition. Generally, okay, listen very carefully. Generally, this book is a cause. This book is condition. This book is both. But this book is a cause. This book is condition, cause and both. But this book is both. Is a synonymous. Causes and condition is a synonymous. But when you think about, individually, this book is made of what? Paper. Made of paper. Like the previous, before there's a piece of paper, they cut and make a book. The paper is a cause, primary cause. Primary cause. Then the person who produced the book, the machine which is produced the books, those are condition. When you hear cause, you just think the primary cause. Condition is the secondary cause, right? For example, tree. The seed of the tree is cause. Then the water, soil, the land, the temperature are the condition. Right? So when you study individually, then you can see the seed is the cause of the tree. Right? Particularly, the seed of the tree is the cause of the tree, not the condition. Clear? And the water, soil, land, temperature, those are the condition of the tree, not the cause of the tree. Therefore, when you think of the individually, then the cause, the condition is separate. Generally, book is cause, for example, seeds. The seed is cause. The seed is condition. The seed is not the condition of the tree. The seed is the cause of the tree. Then the soil, water, temperature are the condition of the tree, not the cause of the tree. But in order to grow up, grow a tree, or we need both. We need the cause, so the cause, which is the seeds. Also, we need the condition, which is the land or space, soil, water, all we need. Right? Okay, there's a dependent, should not think, the meaning is same between the dependent origination and interdependent. Right? For us, we really need to understand interdependent. Interdependent. Also, we say, relying on, each other. For example, many people feel, oh, I am, very poor. Right? Many people think, many Singaporeans think, oh, always feel, they feel very bad, I'm very poor. Poor cannot be, there's no such as poor without rich, right? Without rich. Yes, compared with this family, you think I'm quite poor. But compared with those family, I am quite rich. So that when you really understand, interdependent, then when you say, oh, I have so many problems, right? Many people complain, they come to see me, oh, I have so many problems. Yes, compared with those people, you have more problems. Compared with other people, you have a less problem. You should not think I always have a problem. Again, problem or happiness, suffering also is a relevant. So not what relative. Relative. So this thing. Therefore, once you learn dependent origination, is a big lesson for us. My happiness is depend on the causes and condition, right? If you want more happiness, if you want to be happy, what we need? We need more, causes and condition to, bring a lot of happiness. If we don't want suffering, what we have to do? We need to reduce, we need to minimize the causes and condition of the suffering. Therefore, we need to practice dharma. Dharma, dependent origination, interdependent is very different. We need to know both of them. Not just knowing, when you have problems, you need to reflect on these two, interdependent and dependent origination. Therefore, us, very easy to control the suffering, the problems. But now there's two types of kind of dependent originations. Generally, the external dependent origination and internal dependent originations. Right? When you look at outside, for example, the flower, you can see the flower is look very beautiful, it's very fresh. It remains quite fresh for a few days because the conditions are there, right? After a few days, all the flower are going to be very ugly, no more fresh, because the conditions are there. We cannot change, we cannot stop. The external, factor. For example, when you go out, the weather is quite hot. We cannot change the weather as a simple ordinary being. But as a human being, as a Buddhist, we can control our internal, dependent originations, right? We can able to control our internal dependent origination. Also, we can control our minds. We can control our emotions. When you control your mind, when you go out, when you walk around in a street, when you walk around, like park, where the sun is very hot, still you're okay because you control your emotion, you control your minds. But therefore, here what we have to know, oh, the happiness, the suffering, the problem, everything is very much depend on my minds, right? My minds. If I control my mind, I can control like everything. If I cannot control, then everything's good, but you cannot think, you cannot feel things are good. Am I right? Yes, things are very difficult around you, but when you control your mind, the things are very bad, very difficult for others, but for you, things are positive. Things are very easy for you. For example, let's say you and one of the relatives, both of taking care of one of your relative who has a lot of kind of problems, hospitalized. So both of you next to your relative who are on the bed, hospital, but you cannot control your emotions. For you, while you are still with your relative, you feel very upset. You feel very, kind of unhappy. Right? You feel upset. But your relatives, your another sister or brother, he he can control his emotion, or he or she control his mind, but he cannot feel that upset because he control his mind. You cannot control your mind, but both of you taking care in the same way to your relative who are on the bed. Therefore, in order to control suffering, you need to control your emotion. You need to control your mind. In order to increase, happiness, happy environment, you need to generate a lot of positive thoughts, positive minds. When you generate positive thoughts, when you cultivate a lot of positive minds, everything looks positive. Right? That's mean these are general, the basic practice we need to practice in our daily life. Next, within the internal dependent origination, there's a many bus. Right now we are studying the 12 links, right? 12 link independence. What's the number one? Ignorance. Everybody know the number one, which is ignorance. But we really have to understand what does it mean ignorance. Knowing nothing is not the ignorance. Knowing nothing is not the definition of ignorance. For example, ignorance is opposite of the wisdom. Wisdom is opposite of the ignorance, like enemy and friend. Enemy is the opposite of the friend. Friend is opposite of the enemy. Therefore, ignorance means we have a minds, we have a many minds, positive mind, negative minds, so many different kinds of thoughts, so many different kinds of mind we have. Within the minds, there's one mind we name ignorance. Ignorance mean the minds, apprehend opposite of the reality. Opposite of the reality. Ignorance is a mind which is apprehend the opposite of the reality. That means ignorance. So what does mean, opposite of the reality? A gross example, in a simple example, this book is it permanent or impermanent? This book is permanent. or impermanent. Impermanent, right? Everybody will say, of course, this book is impermanent. What does it mean impermanent? Then you're going to say, if you pull, you're going to be tear. After a few years, you can see the book become old. One day we have to, throw this book, is too old, cannot use anymore. This is not the, actual definition of impermanent. No. When you say this book is impermanent, we have to realize this book is changing momentarily. It's changing without stop any moments. Every moment is changing. The book is changing every moment. Our life is changing every moment. For example, 2024 is changing, right? Every moment, every second, every minute is going to pause 2025. But we don't realize. Therefore, we have a, kind of ignorance about the conditioned phenomena. Clear? All the conditioned phenomena are impermanent, changing. How changing? Momentarily. Cannot stop. Right? For example, when you stay with your, let's say, your friend or your family, your husband or wife, you stay together, but both of you is changing momentarily, but you cannot see the changing. Let's say, both of you separate for 2 years or 3 years. After 3 years, you came back, you meet together. Then you can see how you have become quite old. Right? But the subtle impermanent, first we need to understand through logics. Logics and reasoning. Impermanent thing changing momentarily. Right? Then the opposite. There's a mind, we have a mind. Things are look like permanent. Right? The mind is ignorant about the impermanent. Then the actual wisdom is the mind which realizes the emptiness. Emptiness, right? Emptiness. The opposite of the emptiness is existent independently. Right? Exist independently. This is the kind of the opposite of the emptiness. Emptiness. Therefore, ignorance means we have a mind. The mind always, grabs things as a independent. Okay, today we do, short experiment ourselves. You think I'm very healthy, you think I'm happy, you think I'm intelligent, you think I'm very ugly, I'm very beautiful. Different people have a different belief yourself, right? If I ask you, have you ever really seen yourself? Have you ever seen yourself? Have you seen yourself? Do you able to see yourself until now? Do you see yourself? Look at, when you look at, you can see your arm, you can see your hand, you can see your leg, but you cannot see your face, you cannot see your head, right? And what we use mirror. When you use the mirror, actually you're able to see you, or you're able to see the reflection. Reflection, not you, right? Therefore, the reflection in the mirror, we thought, this is me, right? Look at, we are very ignorant. Therefore, we have been talking, we have been thinking ourselves for many, many years, maybe 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, but we're not able to see ourselves. Using the mirror, you can see the reflection of your face, right? You cannot see your face. Now, okay, let's say, where are you? right now, let's say we are in, I'm in TBC, I'm in on the Christian, right? Then which one you are? Which one you? Your head is you? Is your head is you? Oh, you think carefully, right? My head is not me, right? Because we said my head. Head and me is look like totally separate. We say my head mean me and my head is separate. So head is not me. And hands and legs are not me. Then my minds is not me. My minds are not me. When you open your like chest, what you can see your lungs and heart and all the organs you cannot see. If even you open your heart, what you can see the blood, the upper chamber and lower chamber. You cannot see you, right? Then who we are, where we are in our head, in our heart. But when you study, part by part about your body and mind and speech, you cannot find you as an independent object, right? Independent object. Therefore, me and my, even to say, yeah, what is this? My head, right? Is it your head? This part of my head? No, this is part of my head. This is my forehead. This is the behind of my head. Even though when you analyze, investigate about the head, you cannot find the head as an independent, that independent. Therefore, according to Buddhism, particularly according to uh, Pasangika tradition, there's no such as independent phenomena. Then there's no such as independent me, independent self. Therefore, everything is empty or independent existence. Emptiness means empty or independent existence. That in Chinese they say it was Kong, right? Kong. Kong means like empty. Empty doesn't mean there's nothing. No. For example, when we say, the cup is empty, mean you are saying the cup is empty of the water. Water is not in the cup. It's different. That means when you say the cup is empty, mean there's no water or no coffee, no something not in the cup, right? But the things, for example, water is there, cup is there, but the water is not in the cup. The in empty of the cup is different meaning. If there's no such a thing there, when you say the cup is empty, right? That means the cup is there, but not there as an independent cup. Look at simple. You can look at the cup. You can use everywhere the same idea. In the common sense, generally, without like the investigation, we can say, what is this? This is a cup, right? This is a cup. So when you closely analyze, yes, this is cup, then where's the cup? What is this? What is this? Handle of the cup. What is this? Upper part of the cup. What is this? Below part of the cup, below of the cup, inside, outside. When you look at very closely, you go all the way to the atom, right? That means now you be going to realize the cup is merely designated, right? The cup is merely designated object based on the many condition. Therefore, there is a cup, big, good, small, Buddha, Bodhisattva, everything is there as an illusion, like a cup, right? Therefore, Ignorance is the opposite of the wisdom. Wisdom realizes the reality of the phenomena. Ignorance, apprehend the opposite of the object of wisdom. Ignorance. But the second one, yeah, upon formation. Simply we use say, like a karma, kram or karma. So how the karma is usually formed? How karma create positive, negative, neutral? How the karma is forming? How? We have a negative karmas, right? Then positive karma, then the neutral one, right? Also, again, the positive karma cannot be independently positive. Negative karma cannot be independently negative. Again, depends on many causes conditions. Due to ignorance, then we have a attachment. Ignorance arises, produce attachment. Attachment is a negative thoughts. Ignorance arises anger. Anger is negative thoughts, right? When the negative thoughts arise within our mind, within ourselves, when the anger arises, the action can be negative action, right? Because the trigger is negative, then the result can be negative. Let's say compassion arises. Or then we engage in action. The action we name positive action. Right? Then also we should not think, oh, the positive action is I always accumulate positive actions because it's a good. Right? Compared with negative action, the positive action is a bit better. We should not totally, bring always happiness. No. It's, example, someday you can see, some snake is very ugly. Like, the king cobra is very ugly, scared, right? When by, they release the poison. When the beautiful, like a snake bite you, the snake is look beautiful, but still release poison. Both snake give you a lot of sufferings, right? Therefore, like we are human being, so being a human, born as a human being, cause of the positive karma, right? But still, we have so many problems. Therefore, what Buddha said, until now, all the karma we have been accumulating, no matter positive or negative, both is contaminated karma. Okay? Contaminated karma, positive, negative, both is contaminated karma. Both brings suffering, but compared with true suffering, one is bit better suffering. Still brings suffering, right? Karmas. Therefore, second is the formation. Then third, what's the number three? Consciousness. You have not just count the number. You need to know. Yes, there's an ignorance. Ignorant cause arising all the negative thoughts, positive thoughts. They will engage into action, then accumulate karma. Then consciousness. So you have to know consciousness is a kind of storeroom, like storeroom. The negative or positive, all karmas remain within the consciousness, right? Therefore, number three is consciousness. Then what's the number four? Name and form, right? So we have ignorance, then there's a karma. Then the moment when we died, after we dead, so we take a rebirth. Okay, I'm not talking about the intermediate state. We, born as a human being in the mother womb. First time, When we enter into mother womb, we can have a name or form. There's two, like name and form. When we born into formless being, formless being, formless being, doesn't possess the form, formless, only possess the, four formations, like four aggregates, not the five. So when we enter into mother womb, then we're going to possess the five aggregates, name and form. As a human being, we have forms. As a formless being, they have only name, not form. But then number 4 is name and form. The number 5,
Six senses.
senses. Look at now. Let's say, first time we enter into mother womb, then we have a name and form. Then slowly the form, the body is developed. Then slowly we have a sense. Right? Yeah, sources like the eyes, hair, nose, tongue, body, source. When the source gradually develop, then what next? Source and contact, right? Then contact, what does mean contact mean? I told you, the eyes consciousness contact to the form, right? Eyes consciousness contact through the form. Again here, when the eye consciousness contact to the form, sometimes we create a lot of attachment. When the eyes consciousness contact to the form, sometimes we create a lot of like anger. When the eyes consciousness contact to the form, sometimes we create neither like a positive nor negative, just simple, kind of feeling, contact. Again, the air consciousness contact to the sound, like contact. Therefore, when the consciousness contact to the form, the beautiful form, then what's the next? After like a contact, then feeling. Correct, right? Look at where your air consciousness contact with the beautiful music. It produces what? Pleasant feeling. When your air consciousness contact to the horrible music, horrible like a song, is produce unpleasant feeling, right? Therefore, for the pleasant feeling produce craving, that craving. Therefore, next feeling, then craving. Whole our life is just going this through, the eyes contact to the beautiful object, you feel pleasant feeling. On the eyes consciousness contact to the ugly form, is you have a unpleasant feeling. When you have a pleasant feeling, and your mind is craving, like craving or clinging to the pleasant feeling, right? Then it's become very strong. Then we name next one.
Grasping.
Huh?
Grasping.
No, craving.
Grasping or clinging.
Yeah, craving. The grasping is you hold on too strongly, right? Not just holding, you holding very strongly. For example, let's say we all together, okay? We all together looking at a beautiful object. We feel happy, a pleasant, happy feeling. Then we, craving the sensation. Not just craving, the sensation becomes so strong. Then grasping, right? Then now imagine, immediately the beautiful object disappears. What do you feel? You feel upset. You wish, the beautiful object remain continuously, forever. But cannot. Therefore, now we can see how anger arises. how attachment arises based on the, a pleasant, unpleasant feeling, like grasping. The next one, becoming, some just existent, becoming, right? Now, the craving, grasping, it becomes so strong, then these two, the craving and grasping, actually what you call, that English word, activate the karma, activate the karma, then the karma becomes so complete, become very powerful, then our life, through according to the karma, becoming, right? Becoming or existent. Then what about the next after the becoming? Huh? Birth, right? Now look at, so birth means the craving and grasping activate positive karma, then we take a rebirth into good life, good life. Then the craving and grasping activate the negative karma, then we can have a bad life. You can say lower realm life, like. Then wherever we were born as a human or like a celestial being or lower realm beings, since we were born, then we have all the problems, particularly sickness, then aging and death. Sickness, sudden sickness you can stop. Sudden sickness we cannot. Aging we cannot. Death we cannot. At least be able to stop taking rebirth. Right? Rebirth. Therefore, you can see from ignorance to the rebirth, then aging and death. Okay, here what I'm trying to say you, when you reflect from ignorance all the way to aging and death, all the sorrow and problems, it means we're going to realize origin of, sorry, what a form of it, suffering. We're going to realize suffering, right? Suffering. Because you can see ignorance, all the aging and death, all the problem arise. We're going to recognize the suffering. The suffering, all the aging and death suffering arise from where? Birth. Then birth exists because of the becoming. Right? Becoming because of the grasping. Grasping because of the craving. Craving because of the feeling. Because of the feeling, because of the contact. Contact because of the sense. Sense because of the source. Sources because of the name and form. Then consciousness. Because of the consciousness, because of the, formation. Formation because of the ignorance. Now you can going to recognize the origin of suffering and the suffering. Right? Two truths. Now, let's say ignorance stop, cease, then second, ignorance cease, formation cease. Formation cease, consciousness, all the way, birth cease. When we be able to stop, taking a rebirth, then all the suffering will be cease. Right? This is, we're going to realize the, truth of the cessation of suffering. Right? Suffering. You can see ignorance, then no more aging, no more death. Then finally be able to achieve the cessation, cease all the suffering, cease the cause of the suffering. Realize the cessation. Now go reverse. Aging and death cease when we cease the birth. Birth can be ceased when we cease the becoming, craving, grasping, all the way to the ignorance. Ignorance, right? Ignorance can be ceased, can be stopped when we realize emptiness. That means you can see, path to the liberation. Right. Okay. Today I will go a little bit through the Lamrim. Few, like a sentence. You just listen. Abbreviated classification of the factors. What sort of categories do you obtain by observing the factors? Abbreviating the factors. There are 4 types. That means all the 12s we put into 4 categories. Okay, all 12s we can divide into what? How many? 4 categories. Remember 4 categories. The projecting factors, number 1, projecting factor. Number 2, projected factors. Number 1, what's the number 1? Factor. Number 2, projected factor. Number 3, actualizing factor. Number 4, the actualized factor. Number 1, projecting. Number 2, projected. Number 3, actualizing. Number 4, actualized factor. Okay. Therefore, what are the projecting factors among the 12? Ignorance, then formation. Here's a compositional factor, activities. Is it ignorance and the formation are the projecting. That means, so based on ignorance and karma, these 2 are the projecting. Then what are the projected factor? Name and form, 6 sources, contact, feeling. How many actually? What are the projected factor? Name and form, 6 sources, contact, feeling. Number 4. Among the 12s, 2 are the projecting, which is ignorance and the formation. The 4 are the projected factor. What are they? Name and form, 6 source, contact, feeling are the projected. Mean due to ignorance and karma, then we have form, name and form, contact, feeling, so sources here. Name and form, 6 sources, contact and feeling are the projected. Then what are the actualizing factors? Actualizing, craving, grasping, and existence. 3 are the actualizing. What are the actualized factors? Birth, aging, and death are the actualized factors. Then many of you think, what does mean, projecting, projected? This means ignorance and the formation are the main cause, like projecting. Due to the ignorance and the formation, then name and form arise, sources arise, context arise, feeling arise. That means due to this, we can have all this. Then what does mean actualizing? Cause mean craving, grasping, existence. These are the actualizing mean. Look at, there's an ignorance, there's a formation. Then how the ignorance? Oh, I think I own the guess. I pepper for my lunch. It's okay. I cooked dal. I forget of the. Usually when people cook food, you can have a aroma now. Yeah. Okay. Because the ignorance, right? Ignorance, then you get formation. What does mean, actualizing cause? The craving, grasping, becoming are the actualizing cause. Then birth, aging, and death are the actualized cause. So what does mean, actualizing? Now think, listen very carefully. Now we go through, let's say, two lifetimes. In order to complete the 12, we have to go through two lives. In the previous life, in our previous life, we have a ignorance, then karma. That karma. Due to the karma and ignorance, then we have a name and form, sources, content and feeling. Now, how the name and source, content, feeling, form, right? That means you need to think about the actualizing cause, craving, grasping, becoming. Let's say in our previous life, before we died, before we died, then moment of the death in previous life, so we generate craving. Let's say due to our relatives or due to certain conditions, somehow we need to certainly we remember positivities. Remember like Buddha, or remember helping others. Remember good things. Moment of the death. That means then the craving, continuously thinking about the good things. Craving. Then the good thoughts, not just thoughts, it's become very strong. Continuously, the good thoughts, exist continuously. Then the craving and grasping actually activate the karma. When the karma becomes very complete, it will be named becoming. Right? Becoming. Therefore, craving, grasping, becoming, we name actualizing. That means they really activate the karma. Right? After actualizing, what happened? Then in previous life, the craving and grasping, then the becoming, activate the karma, then finally we died. Right? So after we die, we go to the good life or bad life. It depends on the craving and grasping. Clear? Craving and grasping. Then first time when we take a rebirth, as a human, then we have a name and form. When we take a rebirth as a continuous lifetime, then and only all the name and form sources all becoming together. That means 12 link we can put into 4 categories. What are the 4 categories? Number 1, projecting. Number 2, projected. Number 3, actualizing. Number 4, actualized factor. Then how many factor in the projecting? 2, ignorance and the formation and consciousness are the projecting. Consciousness have a little confusion for you. Consciousness divided into, again, 2 categories. 2 categories. One is the moment of the, moment of the death. One consciousness, moment of the rebirth. Consciousness divided into 2 categories. Right? First, before we die, there's a consciousness which is carry all the karmas. Second, when we first time enter into like a rebirth, then there's a consciousness. Therefore, generally ignorance and the karma consciousness are the projecting. Then name and form, 6 sources, content, feeling are the projected as a form. And what are the actualizing factor? 3, craving, grasping, existence or becoming. Then what are the actualized factor? Birth, aging and death. There's two in the actualize. That 12 input into 4 categories. And there's another the categories. Okay, here. Another category we can think about based on the Nagarjuna teaching among the 12, okay? The first, number 1, first, 8, and the 9 are the afflictions. The 12 factor, moreover, are subsumed under the 3 parts. Those of afflictions, number 1. Number 2, karma. Number 3, suffering. The 12 also we can put into 3 categories. What are they? Afflictions, karma, sufferings. Now the sentence here. The first, the 8th, 9th are the afflictions. First, which is ignorance. Then 8 is the craving. 9 is the grasping, are the afflictions. Among the 12, 3 are afflictions. Then the second, which is formation. 10th, becoming or existence, are the karma. The remaining 7 are sufferings. Among the 12, ignorance, craving, grasping are the afflictions. Then the second, formation, the 10th, becoming or existence are the karma. The remaining 7 are suffering. That means 12 we put into 3 categories. Afflictions, karma, then suffering. That means ignorance, craving, grasping. 3 are we put into category of the afflictions. Then formation, becoming, we put into the karmic categories. The rest of the 7 is a suffering. Okay. Then next, another, I think we go through the how we can apply the 12 interdependent for stopping taking rebirth into lower realms. The 12 generally, the 12 is a very general explanation. Now we link this 12 with the lower realms. Let's say animal beings. First, again, ignorance. Ignorance. When you go through the reflection of the 12 link based on the lower realms, first, there's ignorance. Then there's a negative karma, which is, maybe killing, stealing, all the negative karma is there, that karma. Then the craving and grasping activate the karma. Activate the karma, then the karma become very complete, then we can say becoming. Then we died, then we only into lower realms, right? Lower realms. When you reflect or when you do meditation on the 12 link and dependent, 12 link dependent origination based on the negative karma, then slowly you're able to cultivate renunciation based on the lower realms. Second, when you link this 12 meditate when you meditate on the 12 link and independent origination based on the positive karma. There's ignorance, then there's a positive karma, then the craving and grasping activate the positive karma, then the positive karma become very complete, then the person born into higher realms, like a human, celestial beings. Still, being a human being or being a celestial being, the problem and suffering still there. Therefore, in order to stop, taking rebirth into higher realms, also we need to stop ignorance, then the karma, particularly we need to stop craving and grasping. Then we could stop, taking rebirth into higher realms. Right? Then the same idea we use for the. Let's first we need to we need to feel based on our own experience. Right? Then same idea when you apply for others, other sentient being, then it causes you to cultivate great compassion and bodhicitta. Right? So when you do meditation based on the 12 independent, first you can able to generate renunciation based on the lower realm. Second, you are able to generate renunciation based on the higher realms or the samsara. The same idea when you apply for other sentient being, or you are able to generate great compassion. There are also trailing in meditation on trailing and independent can be caused to generate renunciation, can be caused to cultivate great compassion. Right? So, trailing dependent origination. Then I ask you to do homework. Remember the homework, the dharma, right? Dharma. Yes, dharma. What is the dharma? The dharma is, please read. What is the dharma? The dharma is the eightfold part of the noble one. Simple, you can say the eightfold part of the Arya ones. What are the eight? Please read. Right view, right thought, right speech, right actions, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. Those are the eight. Among the eight, what is the number one? The first number first?
Right view.
Right view. Look at this is a path, right? In order to stop ignorance, what we need a right view. Right view. The second is right thoughts. When you have a right view, perfect view, you have a right thoughts. When the view and thought is correct and right, then we have a right speech and right and all actions, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentrations. Those are the eightfold part of the Arya. Combined with the attainments of its result and the nirvana. So the path and the nirvana both together put into dharma. Therefore, when you say I take refuge to the dharma, always need to remember the path and the path to the cessation. Right? When you say I take refuge to dharma, what you need to remember the path and the path to the cessation, that refuge dharma. So this order you must remember, according to the text, right view, then right thoughts. Even though, let's say, someone is not Buddhist, Of course, we cannot say everybody must be Buddhist. Cannot say, it is impossible. But someone is not Buddhist. If the person has a right view, the person can have the right thoughts. When the person has the right thoughts, the person can have the right actions. That so many problems we have in this lifetime. The problem is very small. A very small problem, but we feel the problem is very big because we have a wrong view. Right? And generally, we say, happiness and suffering is also depend on what we are talking about, which happiness we are talking about. There's no such as independent happiness. For example, as an ordinary simple person, we order laksa, right? We order laksa for lunch. So when we are having the laksa, we feel very happy because we able to afford buying laksa. Then there's a happiness. Same laksa we offer to the little bit wealthy family. When the wealthy family having the laksa, the wealthy family doesn't have the happiness. Doesn't have. Again, happiness also depends what happiness we are talking about. There's no such independent happiness until we totally stop suffering. That happiness. Now also let's say problems. Let's say in Singapore, everybody take 3 times meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? Dinner. You're taking 3 times meals. Then one day you don't have like 3 times meals, you have only lunch and dinner, then you say, oh, I have a problem. I mean suffering because I don't have a breakfast. This also, you can say is suffering. But those people who doesn't take breakfast, they don't have the suffering, which is not having breakfast. Right? Again, happiness, suffering also depends on what kind of happiness we are talking about, what kind of happiness we are, experiencing. Right? Therefore, remember the next we detail or more detailedly about the Eightfold Arya Path. Also, this morning I was thinking how I can explain, the Arya or noble and the ordinary beings. We are like samsaric being. We are being in samsara for millions of years. We are samsaric being. We have our own, mindset as a being as samsara. We have our own mindset. So when we follow our mindset, when we follow the samsaric mindset, we are happy, we are okay. When somebody asks you to, break your mindset, then we say, I cannot. Because our mind is totally set up since for many, many years. For example, let's say we talk about, family. That is very important in the samsara family, like father and mother and brother and sister. We have a family set in our mind, family. When somebody left this world, what do you feel? We feel upset. We feel upset. Right? We feel upset. Because we in samsaric being, we think naturally, innately we believe the person who lost, our dear one, we lose it, we feel the person has totally gone, right? Gone. But according to Buddha teaching, the person just changed the particular body, the person still remain for almost forever. But for us, a person dead means it's look like end of the life. No. Therefore, we have a very mindset which is incorrect. Incorrect. Second, we say, oh, everybody must practice renunciation. Renunciation. Then we thought, if I practice renunciation, then how I can enjoy my life? Right? People think, how I can enjoy my life? This means for us, ordinary being, life means just enjoy the food and drink, have a healthy body, do things. This is meaningful life for us. For the noble being, for the Arya, for them, that's like the concept of family, concept of the like enjoying this life is just for them nothing. We are enjoying with us, suffering. We are not really enjoying with the happiness. If somebody asks you to generate renunciation, cultivate renunciation, suddenly we thought that how I can have a happy life, how I can enjoy my life. Therefore, ordinary beings mean our mind is totally set with the samsaric happiness, samsaric system. The Arya who go beyond the ordinary being, they totally destroy, they totally break down all the ordinary mindset. Right? Therefore, if you really want to be a happy person, really want to overcome from suffering, we really have to break down, we need to break all the samsaric mindset. Samsaric mindset. Until we cannot break the samsaric mindset, there's no way we can achieve the ultimate happiness. Right? Therefore, what does mean noble? What does mean noble being? What does mean arhat? Those are the beings who totally break the samsaric mindset. They're totally against with what we believe, what we do. Ordinary person always, bound or mind with a samsaric activity, samsaric happiness, samsaric mindset. So, in order to practice the pure dharma, we have to go through the opposite of the ordinary beings. Ordinary beings, right? Can we go total opposite of the ordinary beings? Cannot, right? We cannot, because we're scared about the culture, tradition. We are very worried about what people are going to say about me. Therefore, we say I'm practicing Dharma. Actually, we are very much worried, very much concerned about this worldly, activity, the worldly system. Right? Therefore, so you need to remember the Eightfold Arya Paths and remember the right view. The right view is the opposite of the ignorance. If there's a right view, then we can stop ignorance, then we can stop rest of the 11 dependent originations. Okay, we can stop here because I heard the Zambala Puja. Then there's a Zabal initiation, but his eminent team was here, right? The timing is little bit changed. It's supposed to start 2. Now they're going to start at the 1:30. So please, everybody enjoy lunch. I'm going to enjoy the bomb lunch. Okay. Okay, do the dedication prayers. So remember all the positive action. Please be dedicated and married today for world peace, particularly now the European Union and the Russian situation is quite serious. Now, page number 23, stanza number 6. May all human and non-human beings who eliminated the adversity and created conducive conditions for the practice the excellent path never be separated in the end of their lives from the person by the Buddha. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the 10 form of Mahayana virtue practice, may the always be assisted by the mighty one, and may a portion of the positive separate everywhere. Yes, so thank you so much for the class. Enjoy your lunch. Have a happy Sunday. Thank you.